Ethan stood at the edge of the outer border of Zithera, Tivian clinging close to him. Beyond the ridge lay open skies, alien mountains and valleys that stretched farther than any human eye could see. Patrols could not reach this area, but it was not safe. The Queen had warned him that the final test would challenge not only his skill but also his courage. A holographic projection shimmered before them. Queen Lysara's golden wings glowed as her voice carried clearly. "Human, you have guided my child well, but the path ahead will test more than your knowledge. You must navigate the Crystal Gorge, a perilous canyon filled with unstable terrain and volatile energy flows. Your success will prove your courage and protect my child's future." Ethan nodded, determination firm in his eyes. "I will do it," he said quietly, his gaze turning to Tivian. "Are you ready?" The young Zetheran nodded, though his wings fluttered nervously. "I am ready." "I trust you, Ethan." The Crystal Gorge lay ahead, a winding canyon filled with shimmering crystal formations that pulsed with strange energy. The rocks were unstable, and the air vibrated with faint electrical charges. One wrong step could cause a collapse or send energy surges through the canyon. Many Zitherans had avoided it for generations. Humans had never crossed it. Ethan took a careful step into the gorge, holding Tivian's hand firmly. "Stay close and watch your footing. Some of the rocks are unstable, and the energy pulses can hurt if we are careless." As they moved deeper, the canyon seemed alive. Crystals glowed brighter as they passed, responding to their movements. Ethan realized that the canyon tested not only physical skill, but also awareness and strategy. Each pulse of energy required timing and precision. One misstep could spell disaster. Suddenly, a section of the path collapsed behind them. Ethan reacted instantly, catching Tivian and pulling him back onto stable ground. Tivian's eyes widened. You saved me again." Ethan smiled faintly. "We protect each other. That's the most important rule." The journey continued, with Ethan guiding Tivian over jagged rocks, through narrow tunnels, and across crystal bridges that hummed with energy. At one point, a surge of power shot through the floor, forcing Ethan to jump and carry Tivian across safely. Tivian clung tightly, eyes wide with both fear and awe. "Your courage is remarkable, human." Queen Lysara's voice echoed softly through a communication link. "Many would have hesitated. Many would have turned back. Yet you continue to protect my child even in danger." Ethan remained focused. "I have to. His safety is my responsibility now. Nothing else matters." Hours passed and the canyon grew darker. The twin suns of Zithera were sinking, casting long shadows across the jagged landscape. Ethan's endurance was tested, but he drew on human resilience and adaptability. He analyzed each pulse of energy, calculated each step, and kept Tivian's fear at bay with gentle words and reassurance. At the heart of the gorge, they reached the final challenge, a chasm with a bridge of unstable crystals that spanned the abyss. The energy surges were stronger here, and even the slightest mistake could trigger a collapse. Ethan knelt, examining the crystals carefully. "We must move slowly, one step at a time. Trust me." Tivian nodded, eyes fixed on Ethan. "I trust you," he whispered. With careful precision, Ethan led the child across the bridge. Each step made the crystals shiver and hum, but his skill, patience, and courage carried them safely to the other side. Tivian let out a small cheer, his wings fluttering in excitement. "We did it!" High above, Queen Lysara watched silently. Her golden eyes glowed with pride and wonder. She had expected humans to act selfishly or recklessly. Instead, this one had shown courage, intelligence, and care beyond her understanding. She realized that human resilience and empathy were qualities that could surpass even the most skilled Zitheran warriors. Finally, Ethan led Tivian to the edge of the gorge, where the land leveled into a peaceful plateau. The danger was gone and Tivian's safety was assured. Ethan knelt to the child's level, smiling. "We're safe now. You've made it through everything, Tivian. Your mother will see you soon." Tivian's small hands touched Ethan's face. "Thank you." "For everything," he said softly. You are my hero." The Queen appeared before them in person, her wings spread wide. "Human," she said, her voice both commanding and gentle. "You have proven your courage, your intelligence, and your care for my child. You have completed the test. Now I see that your actions are guided not by force or fear, but by empathy and honor." Ethan rose respectfully. "Thank you, Queen Lysara. My goal was only to protect Tivian. That is all I have ever wanted." Lysara's golden eyes softened as she gazed at her child and the human. "You have my respect," she said. "You have shown that courage and kindness can cross worlds. You are worthy of trust, Ethan. You have proven that humans can be more remarkable than even I imagined." Tivian cheered, his small voice echoing across the plateau. "Mother, he saved me. He protected me." The queen's heart swelled with emotion. She had seen many brave warriors, but this human's actions were different. He did not fight for glory, wealth, or power. He fought for the life of a child, her child. And that, Lysara realized, was the truest form of courage. The plateau was peaceful now, the danger of the gorge behind them. Ethan and Tivian had completed the trial, and the queen had witnessed the proof of human resilience, intelligence, and empathy. The moment marked a new understanding between their species, a connection built not on fear, but on respect and trust. The wind swept across the plateau as Ethan and Tivian approached the final boundary of Zithera. Beyond it, the patrols could not follow, and the child would be fully safe. Tivian's excitement grew with every step. He had survived the traps, the forest, and the crystal gorge, all with the help of a human who had risked himself for him at every turn. Queen Lysara appeared before them, this time in full form, her wings glowing gold and her presence commanding. She floated silently for a moment, observing the human and her child. Then she spoke. "Ethan, human, you have proven yourself beyond expectation. You have faced danger, navigated my world, and protected my child with courage and care. Tell me, why do you act this way?" Ethan looked her directly in the eyes. "Because it is the right thing to do," he said simply. "Tivian is innocent. He had no choice in the dangers he faced. I could not stand by and do nothing. Protecting him is the only thing that matters." The queen studied him silently, her golden eyes softening. Then she turned to Tivian. "Child, speak now. Tell me what has happened." Tivian ran forward, his wings flapping with excitement. "Mother, he rescued me. He saved me from the traps, from the patrols, and from the gorge. He never gave up, and he never let me fall. He is my hero." Lysara's heart swelled with a mixture of relief, pride, and awe. She knelt slightly, touching Tivian gently. "My child, you are safe. And this human, he has shown courage and honor beyond what I imagined. He acted not for reward, not for glory, but because it was right. Is this true, human?" Ethan nodded. "It is true, Queen Lysara. My only goal was to protect Tivian." For a long moment, silence filled the air. Then the queen spoke, her voice strong yet warm. "Ethan, you have earned not only my respect, but also the respect of my people. Today you have proven that courage, intelligence, and empathy can cross even the greatest divides. Humans may be young in the universe, but your actions show wisdom and honor beyond expectation." Tivian cheered, wrapping his small arms around Ethan. Thank you for saving me." Lysara smiled softly, a rare expression for the queen. "Let it be known," she said, her voice echoing across the plateau, "that this human, Ethan, has earned the gratitude of Zithera. He has proven that our worlds can be allies, not enemies, that courage and kindness know no species, and that trust can be forged through actions, not words." The young Zitheran gazed at Ethan, his eyes shining with admiration. "I will never forget you," he whispered. Ethan smiled. "Neither will I, Tivian. You are brave and strong, and you reminded me why we fight to protect life, no matter where it comes from." Queen Lysara's advisors bowed, acknowledging the human's heroism. Patrols that had once hunted Ethan now stood in silent respect. The story of a human who saved a Zitheran child would become legend across Zithera, a tale of courage, honor, and empathy. Finally, the queen addressed both Ethan and Tivian. "Today marks the beginning of a new chapter. Humans and Zitherans can stand together, not in fear but in respect. Let this moment be remembered, that even across the stars, acts of courage and kindness can unite us." As the sun set over Zithera, Ethan, Tivian, and the queen stood together on the plateau. The bond between human and alien child had survived trials, danger, and uncertainty. A new understanding had formed between species, showing that empathy, courage, and honor were universal. Tivian looked at Ethan one last time, his voice filled with joy and hope. "Mother, he rescued me. He really saved me." Queen Lysara's golden eyes met Ethan's. "Yes," she said softly, "and for that you have my deepest respect. Today you have shown that humanity can rise to greatness, not through power but through care, courage, and wisdom. You are welcome on Zithera, Ethan, always. The plateau was quiet now, but the story would echo through the stars. A human had saved a child, faced the tests of an alien world, and earned the respect of a queen. And in doing so, he had shown the true strength of humanity, empathy, courage, and honor. The adventure. The first rays of Zithera's twin suns began to light the sky, painting the forests in shades of gold and violet. Ethan and Tivian moved cautiously along a ridge that overlooked a valley far below. The young Zytheran was tired, but his excitement had grown. For the first time, he felt safe and curious at the same time. He trusted the human completely. Ethan scanned the valley carefully. "We're close to the border now," he said. "Once we reach it, the patrols won't be able to follow us easily." Tivian's eyes sparkled. "Do you think my mother will be happy to see me?" Ethan hesitated. "I think she will be surprised. But more importantly, she will notice that you are safe. That's what matters." Suddenly, the air shimmered with energy, and a massive shadow loomed above the ridge. Ethan instinctively pushed Tivian behind a rock as a holographic figure appeared before them. It was tall, elegant, and commanding. Golden light shone from her eyes, and her voice echoed clearly in the clearing. "I am Queen Lysera," she said. "I have come to confront the one who took my child." Tivian gasped, hiding slightly behind Ethan. His mother had arrived in person, and her presence was overwhelming. The queen's golden wings shimmered in the sunlight, stretching wide as she floated gracefully above the ridge. Her voice was calm but carried authority that made the air itself seem to vibrate. Ethan stood slowly, careful not to make any sudden movements. "Queen Lysera," he said respectfully, "I mean no harm. I only rescued your child from danger. He was trapped, and I could not leave him there." The queen's eyes narrowed slightly. "You dare speak to me so boldly, human?" she asked. "You have crossed into our world and interfered with our affairs. Why should I not punish you immediately?" Ethan kept his hands visible, showing he had no weapons. "Because my actions were guided by care, not by force. Tivian was in danger. I only wanted to keep him safe. I understand your concern, and I respect you as his mother. I would never harm him or your people." Tivian peeked from behind Ethan, his small claws gripping the human's arm. "Mother, he saved me," he said softly but clearly. He protected me from the trap. Please do not be angry." The queen paused, surprised. She had not expected the child to speak so plainly. Her gaze softened for a moment as she looked at Tivian, then shifted to Ethan. "Is this true?" she asked, her voice carrying both authority and curiosity. Ethan nodded. "It is. I only acted to protect him. I did not take him for any other reason." Lysera floated closer, her golden eyes studying Ethan carefully. "You are different from what I expected of humans. You do not attack. You do not steal. You act with caution and respect. How is it that one of your kind shows such care for a Zytheran child?" Ethan shrugged lightly. "Humans sometimes act out of empathy. We try to understand what others need and help when we can, even if they are different from us." "I could not leave Tivian in danger." The queen's wings glowed faintly as she considered his words. Her advisors murmured around her, suggesting immediate action, but Lysera raised a claw, signaling them to stop. "No," she said firmly. "Let me see this human clearly. If he truly cares for my child, then perhaps he deserves a chance to prove it." Tivian looked up at Ethan, his eyes wide with wonder. "Mother, he really saved me. He protected me from the trap and from the patrols. He didn't even fight back." Lysera's gaze softened further. The bond between the human and her child was clear. She could see the trust and respect that had formed in just a short time. "Very well," she said. "If you truly care for him, human, then I will test you. Bring him safely to the outer border of Zithera, where no patrol can harm him. There I will judge your actions and your courage." Ethan nodded, understanding the challenge. "I accept," he said calmly. "I will protect Tivian until he is safe." The queen observed as Ethan led Tivian along a narrow path, carefully navigating cliffs, streams, and dense patches of alien vegetation. Patrols still searched for them, but Ethan's knowledge of terrain and strategy allowed them to avoid detection. Every step he ensured Tivian's safety first, showing patience and attention to detail that impressed even the queen from afar. At one point, a small drone appeared, hovering in the air and scanning the path ahead. Ethan quickly took cover with Tivian, using a reflective metal shard to redirect the scanning beam. The drone passed without detecting them. Tivian whispered in amazement, "How did you do that?" Ethan smiled faintly. "Observation and timing. You have to pay attention to everything around you, even small details. That's how you stay safe." As they moved, Lysara continued to watch. "He is clever," she murmured. "Not just in strength or speed, but in thought. He plans, he protects, he adapts. Perhaps humans are capable of more than I assumed." By midday, they reached a canyon that led toward the outer border. Ethan paused, surveying the path. It was risky. Steep cliffs, unstable rocks, and strong winds could easily cause injury. But it was the fastest route. "Are you ready?" he asked Tivian. The young Zithran nodded, his trust in Ethan unwavering. "Yes, I'm ready." Carefully, Ethan led Tivian down the canyon. Rocks shifted under their weight, and strong gusts of wind tried to push them off balance. At one point, Tivian slipped slightly, but Ethan caught him instantly, holding him close. Tivian's small voice trembled. "Thank you." Ethan shook his head gently. "We protect each other. That's what matters." As they approached the end of the canyon, a larger patrol fleet appeared in the distance. Lysara's presence was near, and the Queen's advisors had insisted on immediate capture. But Ethan's skill and strategy allowed them to slip past. Using narrow crevices and shadows to remain hidden, the patrols, despite their numbers, could not anticipate his moves. Finally, they reached a high ridge overlooking the border zone. Beyond it, no patrols could reach them, and Tivian's safety was guaranteed for now. Ethan allowed himself a brief moment of relief. "We made it," he said quietly. Tivian's eyes sparkled. We did it!" he exclaimed, hugging Ethan. "You really kept me safe." High above, Queen Lysara floated silently, watching. Her expression was unreadable, but inside a storm of emotions swirled. She had expected humans to be unpredictable, often violent or selfish. Yet here was one human who acted with courage, intelligence, and care, all while navigating a world that was utterly alien to him. Lysara's voice echoed faintly, carried by a communication device. "Human, you have proven much already, but there is one final judgment. You must bring my child safely to the edge of Zithara and demonstrate that your courage and empathy are true." Ethan nodded. "I will," he said. "Tivian, are you ready for the last part of our journey?" Tivian nodded confidently. "Yes, let's go." Together they moved toward the border, careful but swift. Ethan's knowledge, strategy, and calmness allowed them to navigate through dangerous terrain, and Tivian's trust and cooperation made the journey smoother. Every step reinforced the bond between human and Zitharan child, and every moment was observed by the Queen. As they reached the final stretch, Ethan glanced at Tivian. "Soon you will be home. Your mother will see that you are safe, and she may understand why I acted as I did." Tivian looked at the human with admiration. You are my hero, Ethan. I will never forget you." Above them, Lysara's wings glowed with golden light. She hovered silently, realizing that this human had passed every test so far. He had not only protected her child, but had done so with intelligence, courage, and compassion, qualities that she had not expected to see in a human. The moment was tense, but the Queen knew that the next encounter would define the future between humans and Zitharans. For now, the human had proven himself capable of more than anyone could have imagined. The final border lay just ahead. Beyond it, Tivian would be safe, and the Queen would face the human who had dared to protect her child. The confrontation had begun, but the real test was about to come. The stars above Zithara glittered like scattered diamonds, but Ethan could not enjoy the beauty. His mind was focused entirely on keeping Tivian safe. He had managed to free the child from the dangerous energy field, but he knew the real challenge had only begun. Queen Lysara's forces were fast, intelligent, and relentless. Any moment, scouts or patrols could spot them. Ethan moved carefully, using the shadows of the forest and the irregular terrain to their advantage. Tivian walked beside him, small hands brushing against the glowing plants. He was beginning to feel safer, but fear still lingered in his bright eyes. "Will they catch us?" he asked softly, his voice trembling. Ethan shook his head gently. "Not if we stay smart. We need to move quickly and quietly. The faster we reach the edge of the forest, the better our chances." The young Zitharan's wings twitched nervously. "The forest. It's full of dangers. The roots can trap you. The glowing flowers. Some can burn." Ethan nodded. "I know. That's why I need you to stay close and listen to me. Together we can do this." As they progressed, strange noises echoed through the trees. The sounds of creatures unknown to humans filled the air, some small and curious, others large and menacing. Ethan had to rely on both his intelligence and instincts to avoid them. He noticed the shimmer of patrol drones in the distance, their mechanical hums faint but unmistakable. Lysara's scouts were already searching for them. Meanwhile, on Zithera, Queen Lysara sat on her throne, watching the tracking feeds from her drones. Her golden eyes narrowed as she observed the human and her child moving cautiously through the forest. Her mind was sharp and calculating. "He is clever," she said softly, almost as if speaking to herself. "This human, he moves with precision, yet he does not strike. He protects my child." One of her advisors, a tall Zithran with dark green armor, bowed. "My queen, we must act now. If the human reaches the outer border, he may escape entirely. Shall we send the fleet?" Lysara's eyes did not leave the screens. "Not yet. Let him show his skill. Let him prove why he is worthy of this test." She paused, her voice quieter. "I want to see the child's safe return. Only then will I judge him fully." Back in the forest, Ethan guided Tivian toward a hidden creek that ran underground, a secret passage he had identified from his scans. "This way," he whispered. "It will help us avoid the patrols." Tivian followed closely, eyes wide as they slipped under the roots and rocks. The underground creek was cool and dark, and the sound of flowing water filled the air. Tivian's wings brushed against the walls, and he shivered. It's scary here," he admitted. Ethan smiled reassuringly. "Sometimes the safest path is the one that feels scary. Trust me." Hours passed as they crawled through the creek, emerging on the other side of the forest. The night had deepened, and the glowing plants above cast strange shadows. Tivian was tired, but his trust in Ethan had grown. He realized that the human was not only brave, but also kind. Every time Tivian stumbled or became frightened, Ethan was there to support him, steady and calm. Suddenly, a bright light flashed in the distance, accompanied by the hum of powerful engines. Lysara's patrol fleet had spotted them. Ethan froze, scanning the area quickly. "We have company," he whispered. "We need to move faster." Tivian clutched Ethan's arm. They are coming for us?" Ethan nodded. "Yes, but don't worry. We'll outsmart them." Using his knowledge of alien technology and tactics, Ethan led Tivian through a series of narrow canyons and twisting paths that slowed the Zithran patrols. The scouts were faster, but they were not as adaptable. Ethan anticipated their movements, using small devices to create false signals, distracting the patrols while he and Tivian moved undetected. Meanwhile, Queen Lysara observed everything from her command center. She was both impressed and concerned. "This human, he understands our ways. He anticipates our moves. He protects my child without weapons, without aggression. How?" She trailed off, studying Ethan's every action. There was admiration in her eyes, though she did not show it to her advisors. Hours turned into a long, tense night. Tivian grew sleepy, but Ethan would not stop. He knew that if they rested too early, the patrols could find them. Using his experience and intuition, he led the child to a small cave high on a cliff. From there, they had a clear view of the surrounding area. "Rest here for a while," Ethan said softly. "We can't move far, but we can watch and wait." Tivian nodded, curling up on the smooth stone floor. He watched Ethan as he checked the surroundings, making sure no patrols were near. For the first time since being trapped, Tivian felt safe. He looked at the human and whispered, You really care about me, don't you?" Ethan smiled faintly. "Of course. That's why I am here. No one should be left in danger, not even a child from another world." Above them, the patrols circled, unable to find their quarry. Lysara's frustration was clear. She had underestimated the human's intelligence and skill. Her advisors urged immediate action, but she shook her head. "Let him continue," she said. "I must see how far his courage goes. If he can protect my child until dawn, then he may be more remarkable than I imagined." The night grew colder, and the wind swept through the canyon. Ethan shared some of his rations with Tivian, showing the child how to eat carefully in the darkness. Tivian's wings quivered with excitement and fatigue, and he listened intently as Ethan told stories of humans who traveled to distant worlds, of their courage and their kindness. Tivian's imagination grew, picturing a world beyond Zithera where beings of different shapes and colors could work together. Suddenly, a distant explosion shook the cliffside. Ethan immediately shielded Tivian, his instincts sharp. A patrol drone had triggered a rock slide, but Ethan had anticipated it and moved them just in time. Tivian's eyes were wide with awe. How did you know? He asked. Ethan shrugged lightly. Experience. And paying attention. Danger is always nearby in unknown territory. You have to be ready, but you also have to stay calm. The young Zithran nodded. He realized that humans were different in many ways. Not just in appearance, but in their approach to problems. Humans did not rely solely on strength or authority. They relied on intelligence, creativity, and care. As dawn approached, Ethan and Tivian reached a ridge that overlooked the edge of the forest. In the distance, the first signs of the outer border shimmered, a place where the patrols could not easily follow. Ethan breathed a small sigh of relief. We're almost there, he said. Just a little further and we can plan the next step. Tivian's small voice was filled with excitement and hope. Do you think my mother will be angry? Ethan looked at the glowing horizon. She might be, but she will also see what you have experienced. She will see that you are safe and maybe she will understand why I did what I did. High above, hidden in her observation ship, Queen Lysira watched the human and her child. She had seen everything, the careful movements, the protection, the courage. Her golden eyes shone with a strange mix of anger, curiosity, and admiration. This human, he is unlike any I have ever encountered, she murmured. He does not fight, yet he protects. He does not take what is not his, yet he defies me. Who is he? As the sun began to rise over the alien world, Ethan and Tivian paused to rest briefly, knowing the Queen's forces were still searching. The journey was far from over, but for the first time both of them felt a spark of hope. They had survived the night and they had each other, and somewhere in the sky above, the alien Queen Lysira made a decision. She would confront this human herself. She would face the one who dared to rescue her child. The question was not whether she would succeed. It was whether the human could prove that courage and kindness could bridge worlds. The chase was only beginning. The planet Zithra was alive with strange sounds. Giant trees with silver leaves swayed under a violet sky. Rivers of glowing liquid flowed between rocky cliffs and the air shimmered with tiny floating lights. It was a world of beauty but also of danger. The people who lived here, the Zithrans, were not like humans. They were tall, with strong limbs and chitinous armor that gleamed in the light. Their eyes were bright and sharp, seeing colors that humans could not. At the center of this world ruled Queen Lysira, the mother of the young Zithran child, Tivian. Tivian was unlike most Zithran children. Curious and full of energy, he loved exploring, even in places that others avoided. His mother often warned him, "Do not wander near the research zone, Tivian. It is dangerous." But Tivian's curiosity was stronger than fear. Today, he crept past the high towers of the city, past the guards, and into the forest that led to the edge of the research area. The research zone was a place where strange machines hummed and flashed. The Zithrans had been studying the stars and the objects they found floating in space. Many of the machines were powerful and unpredictable. One wrong step could trap a creature or even hurt it. Tivian did not understand this fully, but he wanted to see the glowing crystals that the scientists had found last week. As Tivian approached the zone, a small alarm beeped somewhere in the distance. He paused, glancing at the strange metal structures, but before he could turn back, a trap snapped shut. A bright field of energy enclosed him, and he realized too late that he had walked right into danger. Panic surged in his chest. His wings fluttered, but they were trapped. From the shadows above the forest, a human watched. His name was Ethan, and he was part of a small exploration team sent to Zithra to investigate unusual signals. Humans rarely came to this distant world, and Ethan knew that any encounter with Zithrans could be dangerous. But today he saw something he could not ignore. A small creature, clearly a child, was trapped in a glowing cage. The energy field pulsed dangerously, and Ethan knew he had only moments to act. He moved carefully, stepping over glowing roots and uneven ground. He had studied the alien technology from afar, and now he needed to act. Drawing a small tool from his belt, he worked quickly to disable the field. Sparks flew as the device hummed, and for a moment the field grew brighter, then slowly dissipated. Tivian stumbled forward, blinking in surprise. You saved me?" Tivian asked, his voice small and trembling. Ethan smiled gently. "It's okay. You're safe now. Come on, we need to get out of here." Tivian hesitated, unsure if he should trust this strange human. He had been taught to be wary of outsiders, especially humans who were known to be unpredictable and powerful, but something in Ethan's calm voice and careful movements made Tivian take a small step forward. Behind them, shadows moved quickly. Queen Lysara's guards had noticed the disturbance. They were fast, strong, and determined. Any human who interfered with Zitharan affairs was considered a threat. But Ethan did not panic. Using a small jet device strapped to his back, he propelled himself and Tivian over a wall of energy spikes. They landed in the dense forest beyond, just as the first Zitharan scouts arrived. The guards hissed and extended their limbs to attack, but Ethan moved with surprising skill. He knew how to avoid confrontation without hurting anyone. A few quick maneuvers, a well-timed jump, and he led Tivian deeper into the forest, away from the immediate danger. Tivian's small claws clung to Ethan's shoulders. Who are you?" he asked. His fear was slowly turning into curiosity. "My name is Ethan," the human replied. "I saw you were in trouble. I couldn't leave you there." The young Zitharan blinked. Humans did not usually act this way. Most were cautious or aggressive. But this human, Ethan, had risked himself to save a child. Tivian's chest swelled with gratitude mixed with a hint of awe. Meanwhile, back in the city, Queen Lysara had been informed. Her expression was unreadable as always. Her large eyes, glowing with a soft golden light, narrowed as the reports came in. "A human has taken my child," she said softly, almost to herself. Her voice carried authority and fear at the same time. The thought of her child in the hands of a human was unacceptable, yet she felt something strange. A flicker of curiosity. The Queen's advisors urged her to send the fleet, to capture the human and return the child immediately. But Lysara hesitated. There was something in the human's actions that did not feel like typical aggression. She watched the reports carefully, observing the way the human moved, the way he protected Tivian. Meanwhile, Ethan and Tivian reached a small clearing. The moonlight shimmered on the glowing plants around them. Tivian's small wings folded nervously behind his back, and he looked up at Ethan. I thought I would be trapped forever," he said. Ethan knelt to be at eye level with Tivian. "You're free now," he said gently. "I won't let anything happen to you. But we need to move quickly. Your people will come looking for you." Tivian nodded. He could feel the truth in Ethan's words. There was no fear in this human's eyes, only determination and care. He had never met anyone like him before. Hours passed as they moved quietly through the alien forest. Ethan used all his knowledge of alien biology and terrain to avoid detection. Tivian pointed out paths, whispered warnings about dangerous plants, and slowly began to trust the human more. For the first time, Tivian realized that not all outsiders were threats. Some could be friends, even heroes. Back in the city, Queen Lysara's anger was growing. She had sent scouts and drones, but none could find the human or the child. Her advisors were anxious. "We must act now, my queen. The human cannot be allowed to leave Zithara with Tivian." Lysara's gaze drifted to the images of her child, safe in the human's care. Her mind raced. This human, he moved with caution, but he did not attack. He protected her child with skill and care. Could a human really act with such honor? It was unusual, almost unimaginable. As night fell on Zithara, Ethan and Tivian found a safe place to rest. Tivian curled up under a large glowing leaf, his small body tired but relieved. Ethan watched him carefully, ensuring no danger approached. He thought about the Queen and the possibility of being confronted. Humans and Zitharans had rarely met, and the first contact could go very badly, but he trusted that if he acted with care and respect, things could turn out well. Tivian's eyes slowly closed. "Thank you, Ethan," he whispered before drifting into sleep. Ethan smiled softly. He knew the journey was only beginning. Returning Tivian safely would not be easy, and they would face challenges beyond anything the young Zitharan could imagine. But for now, the child was safe, and that was all that mattered. Above them, hidden among the stars, Queen Lysara observed the human and her child. A single thought echoed in her mind. Who is this human who dares to protect my child? And why does he make me feel something I cannot name? The night was calm, but the storm was coming. Soon, the Queen herself would intervene, and Ethan would have to prove that courage and kindness could bridge worlds, even between a human and the Queen of Zithara.